Hello, everyone. Welcome back to A1 English Podcast, the show where we make English feel simple, natural, and honestly fun.
Hi, everyone. I'm Jessica.
And I'm Jack.
And today we have something really special for you. Something that might completely change the way you think about learning English.
Yeah, before we jump in, quick reminder, if you're serious about improving your English naturally, hit that like button and subscribe to the channel.
Because when you subscribe, you're not just supporting us, you're actually supporting your own journey. Every episode is designed to help you grow a little more.
Okay, so today's topic is a big one. It's called English Isn't Hard, Your Learning Method Is. Try this instead.
Oh, I love this topic, Jack, because so many people message us saying, English is just too difficult for me. I've been studying for years and I still can't speak.
Right, and honestly, that breaks my heart a little bit, because most of the time, it's not that they can't learn English.
It's that they've been using the wrong method this whole time.
Exactly. And today, we're going to explain why that happens, and more importantly, what you can do instead.
By the end of this episode, you're going to look at English learning in a completely different way.
Not as a subject you study for a test,
But as a skill you build through real use, real practice, and real confidence.
So let's start easy. No stress, no boring grammar lecture.
Just real talk, real English, and real solutions.
Let's get into it.
All right, Jack, let me ask you something first. When you think back to how you were taught English in school, what comes to mind?
Oh, grammar tables, verb charts, long vocabulary lists that I had to memorize for a test.
Exactly the same for me. And here's the thing, that method isn't completely useless, but it's incomplete.
Right, because knowing grammar rules doesn't automatically mean you can speak fluently.
Think about it this way. You can memorize every rule about how a bicycle works, the wheels, the pedals, the balance, but if you never actually get on the bicycle and try,
You're never going to learn how to ride it.
exactly. And that's what happens with so many English learners. They study the theory for years, but they never actually practice using the language.
So when people say, English is just too hard for me, what they usually mean is,
My method of learning English has been too passive.
let's break that word down. Passive learning.
Passive learning means reading, listening, translating in your head, memorizing lists, but never actually producing the language yourself,
And the opposite of that is active learning.
which means speaking, writing, making mistakes, and using English in real situations, even when it feels uncomfortable.
And here's something interesting. Studies on language acquisition show that learners who actively use a language, even with mistakes, tend to become fluent much faster than learners who only study rules.
Because language isn't really a subject like math or history.
It's a skill, like swimming or playing guitar or cooking.
And skills only improve through practice, not through memorization.
So today, we're not going to give you more rules to memorize.
We're going to give you a new way of thinking about how you learn.
And honestly, once this idea clicks, it changes everything. You stop feeling like English is this giant mountain you can never climb.
And you start seeing it as something you build, piece by piece, every single day.
It's a bit like going to the gym. On day one, nobody expects to lift heavy weights.
You start small, you're consistent, and slowly your strength builds up without you even noticing.
English works exactly the same way. Small, consistent, active practice beats occasional passive studying every single time.
And that's really the heart of everything we're going to share with you today.
Sound good?
Let's do it.
All right, let's talk about the first big problem with the traditional method.
This is a really important one.
The first key point is this. Translating in your head slows you down and actually makes English feel harder than it is.
Oh, this is so true. Let me explain what this looks like in real life.
Please do.
Imagine someone asks you, "What did you do this weekend?"
Okay, I'm imagining it.
If you're translating in your head, your brain goes through this whole process. First, you think of the sentence in your own language. Then you translate word by word into English. Then you check the grammar. Then finally, you speak.
And by the time you've done all of that,
The conversation has already moved on, or you've frozen up because it took too long.
that's exactly what happened to me when I first tried to speak with a native speaker. I would think, okay, in my language, I would say this. How do I say this in English? Wait, is this the right tense?
And your brain just overloads.
Completely. It's exhausting.
So here's the fix. Instead of translating, we want to train your brain to think directly in English, chunks, small phrases that you use again and again.
Give us an example, Jessica.
Sure. Instead of learning the individual words, "What did you do this weekend?" and then building a sentence from scratch every time,
You just learn the whole phrase as one piece. What did you do this weekend? It becomes automatic.
exactly. And once that phrase is automatic, you don't have to think about grammar rules at all. It just comes out naturally.
So it's like learning a song by singing it, not by reading the sheet music.
I love that comparison. Yes, exactly like that.
Okay, so here's a real-life scenario. Imagine you're at a coffee shop and the barista asks, "What can I get for you today?"
If you're translating in your head, you might freeze for a second.
But if you've practiced common phrases as chunks, you can just respond naturally. "Can I get a medium coffee, please?"
No translating, no grammar checking, just natural, automatic response.
Here's one more example, and this one comes up all the time when people are traveling. Imagine someone at the airport asks, "Where are you flying to today?"
With translation, your brain has to build that answer piece by piece. Which country, which verb tense, which preposition.
But with chunking, you already have the phrase ready. "I'm flying to London for a business trip."
No hesitation, no stress, it just flows out naturally because you've practiced that pattern before, even if the destination changes each time.
Now, here's a common mistake learners make with this. They try to build every single sentence from zero using individual words.
And that's incredibly tiring for your brain. It's like rebuilding a car engine every single time you want to drive somewhere.
Instead of just turning the key and going.
Exactly. So remember, when you're learning English, don't just memorize isolated words.
Learn full expressions, phrases, and sentence patterns that you can reuse in different situations.
That one shift alone can completely change how confident you feel speaking.
Not complicated at all, right?
Not at all. It just requires a different approach.
Okay, Jessica, now let's move to the second key point.
This one is equally powerful.
The second key point is fear of mistakes is the real thing blocking your fluency, not your English level.
Oh, this is such an important topic. Let's make this super practical.
Imagine you're in a meeting at work and you want to share an idea, but you're not 100% sure your grammar is perfect.
What do most learners do in that moment?
They stay quiet. They wait. They let someone else speak instead.
And that silence over months and years becomes a habit of not speaking.
Exactly. And the problem is, the less you speak, the less your brain gets a chance to practice, and the slower your progress becomes.
So here's the truth that changed everything for me personally. Fluency isn't about speaking perfectly.
It's about speaking consistently, even with small mistakes.
Let's compare two learners. Learner A studies grammar books for 2 hours every day, but never speaks out loud.
Learner B speaks broken English for 20 minutes every day, makes plenty of mistakes, but keeps practicing.
After 6 months, who do you think is more fluent?
Learner B every single time.
Exactly, because fluency is built through actual use, through your mouth moving, your brain reacting in real time, not through silent memorization.
Now, here's a common mistake people make because of this fear. They say something like, "My English is not good, sorry," before they even try to speak.
And the problem with that is you're apologizing before you've even given yourself a chance.
Instead, try saying something like, "I'm still practicing my English, so please be patient with me."
That's such a small shift, but it completely changes your mindset. Instead of apologizing for your level, you're being honest and confident about your journey.
Let's practice one more example. Imagine your friend asks you a question in English, and you don't know one specific word.
What would you do?
A learner with fear would probably stop talking completely.
But a confident learner would describe the word instead. For example, if you forget the word umbrella, you could say, "the thing you use when it rains," to cover yourself.
And guess what? Native speakers do this too. It's called circumlocution, and it's a completely normal part of natural conversation.
So don't be afraid of not knowing a word. Just describe it and keep the conversation going.
There's actually a really interesting concept behind this called the affective filter from language learning research.
Ooh, tell us more about that, Jack.
Basically, when you feel anxious or afraid of making mistakes, your brain puts up a kind of filter that blocks new language from going in and coming out smoothly.
So the more relaxed and confident you feel, the easier it actually becomes to learn and speak.
Exactly, which means reducing your fear isn't just a nice idea, it's a real practical way to learn faster.
That's such a powerful reminder. Your emotions really do affect your learning, not just your knowledge.
Did you notice something interesting there? Every single fix we've talked about is about action, not more studying.
Exactly, because sitting and memorizing grammar rules feels safe, but it doesn't build real skill.
Speaking, even imperfectly, is what actually builds fluency.
So remember, don't wait until your English is perfect to start speaking.
Start speaking, and your English will become better because of it.
Beautifully said, Jack.
All right, Jessica, let's talk about the mistakes people commonly make when they try to change their learning method.
Yes, because even when people understand this idea, they sometimes apply it the wrong way.
And honestly, we've made most of these mistakes ourselves, so this comes from real experience, not just theory.
Definitely. Learning what not to do is sometimes just as valuable as learning what to do.
Mistake number 1, trying to learn everything at once.
Ugh, this is so common. People download 5 apps, buy 3 books, and try to memorize 100 new words in one day.
And what happens? They burn out within a week and give up completely. The fix is simple. Focus on small, consistent practice. 15 to 20 minutes of real speaking practice is far more powerful than 3 hours once a week.
Mistake number 2. Only listening and reading, but never speaking or writing.
This is what we call passive input without active output.
And the problem is, your brain needs to produce language, not just receive it, in order to truly learn it.
The fix? Even if you're alone, speak out loud. Describe your day in English. Talk to yourself in the mirror.
It feels a little strange at first, but it works incredibly well.
And the last common mistake, comparing yourself to native speakers or to other learners who seem way ahead of you.
Oh, this one really hurts people's confidence.
People think, "I've been learning for 2 years and I still can't speak like this YouTuber, so I must be bad at this."
But that comparison isn't fair at all. Everyone starts at a different point, with different amounts of practice time, different backgrounds, different opportunities to speak.
The fix is to compare yourself only to your own past self. Are you better today than you were 3 months ago?
If the answer is yes, you're doing great, and that's all that matters.
One more small mistake worth mentioning: focusing only on perfect pronunciation before speaking at all.
Ugh,
This holds so many people back. They wait until their accent sounds perfect before they even attempt a conversation.
But communication doesn't require a perfect accent. It requires being understood.
And you can absolutely be understood and improve your pronunciation naturally just by speaking often and listening carefully to feedback.
So don't let the search for a perfect accent stop you from having real conversations today. Now, if you recognize yourself in any of these mistakes, don't panic.
Every single person listening right now, including us, has made these exact mistakes before.
The important thing is recognizing them and slowly shifting your habits.
Progress over perfection, always.
Before we move on, I want to add one more bonus tip because I think it ties everything together.
Ooh, I love bonus tips. Go ahead, Jack.
It's about immersion, not the kind where you move to another country, but the kind you can create right where you are.
Tell us more about that.
So many learners only touch English during their study time, maybe 30 minutes a day with a textbook, and then they go back to their own language for the rest of the day.
And the problem with that is your brain never gets enough exposure to actually absorb the language naturally.
Exactly. So here's the simple fix. Change small parts of your daily life into English.
Like what, for example?
Change your phone language to English. Watch your favorite show with English subtitles instead of your native language. Follow English social media accounts that interest you. Cooking, sports, movies, anything you already enjoy.
So it's not extra work, it's just shifting things you already do into English.
Exactly, because immersion isn't about forcing yourself to study more.
It's about surrounding yourself with English in ways that feel natural and enjoyable.
And here's something really encouraging. Even just 20 minutes a day of genuine immersion, listening to a podcast like this one, for example, can make a noticeable difference over a few months.
Consistency really is more powerful than intensity.
Couldn't agree more.
All right, let's put everything together now with a practical, real-life example.
Yes, let's imagine a full scenario using everything we talked about today. Imagine you're traveling and you arrive at a hotel front desk and the receptionist speaks only English.
In the old method, you'd be thinking, okay, how do I translate check in? How do I conjugate this verb? Wait, is this the right sentence structure?
And by the time you figure it out, you're standing there in awkward silence.
But with the new method, you've already practiced common phrases as chunks, so it comes out naturally. Hi, I have a reservation under the name...
No translating, just automatic, confident speech.
Then, let's say the receptionist asks a question you don't fully understand.
Old method, panic and silence.
New method, you calmly say, sorry, could you say that a little slower, please? Which is a completely normal, natural thing to say.
And instead of feeling embarrassed, you feel proud because you handled a real situation in real English.
That right there is fluency. Not perfect grammar, but real communication.
Let's try one more scenario, because I think it really shows the difference.
Good idea. Let's imagine you're at a restaurant with friends, and everyone is speaking English.
In the old method, you'd probably sit quietly, nodding along, worried that if you speak, you'll say something wrong.
And by staying quiet, you actually miss the chance to practice, and the evening passes without you saying much at all.
But with the new method, you jump in, even with simple sentences. You might say, "That sounds delicious. What did you order?"
Simple, natural, and it opens the door to a real conversation.
And if someone asks you a question you don't fully catch, instead of freezing, you just say, "Sorry, one more time, please?"
And just like that, the conversation continues, and you're building real confidence with every sentence.
One more quick example. Let's say you're writing a message to a coworker in English, maybe an email.
In the old method, you might spend 15 minutes translating every single sentence in your head before typing anything.
In the new method, you use phrases you already know work well. I hope you're doing well. I wanted to follow up on. Please let me know if you have any questions.
These are chunks you've practiced before, so writing becomes so much faster and more natural.
See how all three situations, speaking at a hotel, talking with friends, and writing an email, all use the exact same principles we talked about today?
Phrases instead of translation, confidence instead of fear, and small daily immersion instead of occasional heavy studying.
So here's a small challenge for everyone listening right now.
Today, pick one English phrase you learned in this episode and say it out loud, right now, even if you're alone. Do it 3 times. Because repetition is what turns a phrase into a habit, and a habit into fluency.
All right, Jessica, let's quickly review everything we covered today.
First, we talked about how translating in your head slows you down, and how learning phrases as chunks helps you speak naturally.
Then we explained how fear of mistakes, not your actual English level, is usually the biggest thing blocking your fluency.
We also covered common mistakes like trying to learn everything at once or comparing yourself unfairly to others.
And finally, we walked through a real, practical example of how to apply all of this in everyday life.
Remember, everyone, English isn't hard.
Your old learning method might have been the real problem.
So today, try something different. Speak more, translate less, and be kind to yourself along the way.
You don't need to be perfect.
You just need to keep showing up and keep practicing.
That's the real secret to fluency.
If this episode helped you see English learning in a new way, please hit the like button.
And if you want more real, practical English lessons like this one, subscribe to A1 English Podcast.
We upload new episodes to help you build real confidence in English step by step.
And here's the last thing we want to leave you with. Every fluent English speaker you admire, every confident YouTuber, every person who inspires you, they all started exactly where you are right now.
They made mistakes, they felt nervous, and they kept going anyway.
The only real difference between them and where you are today is time and consistent active practice.
So be patient with yourself, celebrate small wins, and trust the process.
Thank you so much for spending this time with us today.
Keep practicing, keep speaking, and keep believing in yourself.
Bye, everyone.
See you in the next episode.